And Hong Kong leader John Lee promises a new national security law by next year. Incentives to boost the city's birth rate and lower property taxes also unveiled in his latest policy address.
Hong Kong Chief Executive John Lee has given his second policy address with a broad focus on stimulating the economy. He also announced the Chinese territory's plan to have its own national security law by the end of next year. CNA's Deborah Wong with this report.
Green ties and scarves all around the chamber to signify solidarity. And in his nearly 3.5-hour speech, longer than last year, Chief Executive John Lee focused on deepening integration with the mainland, and that's across economic and social sectors. It's expanding financial cooperation with the Greater Bay Area by helping to set up local businesses in Qianhai. It's also in talks with Guangdong on how to facilitate data transfer to drive cross-boundary financial and medical services. And there are also plans to set up a university town in northern Hong Kong to foster better ties with mainland schools.
國家嘅發展就係香港最好嘅機遇。中央政府大力支持香港發展經濟。香港要發揮好一國兩制下背靠祖國、聯通世界嘅獨特優勢，積極融入國家發展大局，發揮作為國內國際循環重要節點嘅角色，參與同埋推動粵港澳大灣區建設同埋一帶一路國家戰略。
So now more than ever, Hong Kong has to be vigilant about anti-Chinese sentiments. Schools will have to run a patriotic education program. That includes Chinese cultural immersion trips for teachers and students.
Hong Kong will also complete a legislative exercise for Article 23, the city's own national security law in its mini-constitution that's meant to complement the Beijing-imposed national security law. And all eyes are on how it will pan out, as the controversial bill was shelved in 2003 after protesters took to the streets.
Stated in the basic law, which the Hong Kong as our government has not been able to fulfill for over 20 years. To develop our economy, to help people's livelihood, we cannot forget the government also has constitutional responsibility. Without constitution, I think things will become chaotic.
Just like last year, talent retention remains a key priority. Mr. Lee will relax the top talent pass scheme to include applicants from more universities. He will also allow non-local vocational students to stay on longer to find jobs in the city. The crux here is to boost a dwindling workforce, compounded by falling birth rates. Hong Kong will disburse over US $12,000 to families and give young married couples priority in getting subsidized housing. That's all in a bid to raise population growth.
We are among and probably one of the lowest, the city with lowest fertility in the world. So I guess this is a good direction, but I'm not sure whether it will be that helpful because raising a kid in Hong Kong is very expensive. It may cost like several millions of Hong Kong dollars to raise a kid to 20 years old.
And a much-needed boost for a sluggish property market. Stamp duties of up to 20% will be waived if houses are resold within 2 years instead of 3 years. Stamp duties for non-locals and non-first-time buyers will be halved. But will all that move the needle?
Depends also on the current situation of the interest rate and the general economy. So I would guess if you, for example, if you have a reduction of interest rate by like 0.25%, because you have to pay the mortgage for 30 years, so it will be equivalent to 0.5% of the price. If other things being the same, so our housing price rise for about 5-6%.
Cash incentives and subsidies abound, but analysts say market sentiments will not change overnight. It all depends on how Hong Kong navigates geopolitical factors and how it stabilizes its local economy. Deborah Wong, CNA.